Guys, we have the first game of the round robin between Jimmy Turtwig, Laurel, and Boyd. This is the first game between Jimmy T and Laurel. It is the also known as Energy, and it is the first game of the entire final. So Laurel's been playing since '07 or something, maybe '08, or let's say '08 or '09. But it's been a while. He's been around longer than I have, and I've seen him. To see him come this far after so long is truly a testament to what Regileague and Poke Central and YouTube and all that shit was back in the day. Anyway, so Jimmy T's a beast in like every gen of OU. Well, I haven't seen him play Sun and Moon, but yeah, he's been playing rock solid lately. Anyway, so the turn one exchange, Zapdos, T Bolton, Metagross just barely coming short of the KO, so that's going to either be modest with not max special attack, or it's going to be timid, which can come up short on max HP or close to it gross. So he subs to block an explosion. Jimmy T's not having any of that. He's not wanting to risk a roll. He goes to T-Tar. Eats the T-Bolt. Does a pretty nice chunk, so it is going to be at least somewhat offensively inclined. Whether it's timid to sub on Roserade leads or modest just to have some extra pulse, we'll see. Anyway, so Crunch and Stone Edge, those two on non-choice sets are not the most common. They can be seen on Mix, but generally you'll see Superpower. So generally, if it was mixed, then, sure, that can work, but I think it's likelier that we're seeing a Crunch, Stone Edge, Fire Punch, DD Tar. Used to be the standard in the days of Latias when Scizor was everywhere with a Babiri Berry, so you just Fire Punch the shit out of that as it tries to Bullet Punch you. So a Babiri Berry can also be helpful against Metagross, Bronzong, Jirachi. So, yeah, nowadays it'd be odd to see Babiri Berry on it, but it can run anything. It's not Life Orb, we know that. That's actually a pretty good set. So, but, Lum is more likely, Pasho, Chomp will throw all the Mock Breloons and set up on Gengar, or just, break it sub. So, meta coming in on Hitmontop. Hitmontop does counter T-Tar. The problem is it often gives up a ton of momentum in exchange, and Metagross is going to come in, and as soon as those rocks go up, they're going to go right back up. Other thing about lead Metagross is they don't stealth rock that much these days. I mean, obviously they do. It's one of the most iconic DPP leads. But they most likely opt for attack, just so they kill shit. They can set up rocks later, but the early game advantage is pretty significant. Rocks go back up. Here comes Zapdos, gonna get a free T-Bolt on the Rapid Spin. Funnily enough, puts it in range of the first Thunderbolt, so they can keep T-Bolting away. The crit through the Intimidate does suck though, because Hitmontop took a lot of damage. So, but T-Tar is not invincible. So he's not going to be able to do that all game. That said, it is going to be likely that Laurel is going to be playing with rocks on his side of the field. So sub, I think we're seeing some more like a semi-stallish team, because that is what sub Zapdos would suggest. I mean, Hitmontop is never used on offense, ever. So that is like, it is synonymous with bulky fucking, I'm not sure how I feel about sub there. I think he just T-bolting away. This is going to be lost HP. He's not going to get back for a while, so he's not going to make use out of that sub. His T-Tar just crunches. Like, I think it would just been better to T-bolt and switch, unless he's going to roost, in which case he's going to be at 75 anyway. Well, I guess this way when he comes back in, if rocks are up, he's at 75 instead of 50, which is nice, but he's also done no damage to T-Tar, where he was looking at a pretty likely 3-hit KO with Thunderbolt. So he's going to want to get up Rise Rocks. He's going to try and play with it. Crunch, sub. I think we're going to see one more sub, then a roost. Well, here comes Top once more. He drew the Crunch as opposed to Stone Edge, so that was nice. He gets a drop. But Trantar is not obligated to stay in, because one of the Hitmontop's moves is Mach Punch, so I think it'd be, well, I guess because Metagross doesn't even die to close combat, so I think Metagross is a much better move, and Bullet Punch would finish it off, because with Rocks Gross, I mean, people do, sometimes they run Rocks, EQ, Custat, Mash with Boom, but that's I only have run that on one team, and I mean, sometimes other people. There was a time in like 2012 when people were like, "I don't need the priority move for the Sash lead because the Sash leads aren't really around anymore, and plus they predict it if they are around, so I can cheat a little and use extra coverage." Empoleon did this too, but so I don't see that happening. Oh, he is faster. He's gonna spin, and he gets Fire Blast, and I think Jimmy's using my team, and I don't mean that in the super vein. Of course, he's using my team. It's DPP, but because the Rocks Metagross, I mean, that doesn't mean anything, obviously, but the Crunch, Stone Edge, Fire Blast, I mean, it could be totally different. It could just be like a MixTar with the Rocks Metagross lead, and it could be just a MixTar that has Stone Edge where you normally see Superpower. But I just have a feeling, and in that case, this would be DD Tar. Okay, it's not my team. Well, now I look stupid. But the team I'm thinking of is Gyarados, and then DD Knight, and Custat Machamp Cresselia. Oh, it's Trick Room. All right. Well, I think this makes the mixed Dragonite extraordinarily likely with Trick Room because he's got to bust some holes against more defensive stuff, and so far he is not doing a great job of that. He's doing fine against offense, perfectly fine, and TR does pursue, but he needs to actually break down the wall. So, Gara EQs, no lefties, looking like a possible choice band. It could also be Whacken, but I think in a situation like that, he probably goes for DD. Because he's behind, he's got the double Intimidate thing. Most top teams will come equipped with the Gara. Rest Talk more likely, but if it's a more offensive inclination, then sure, choice band is cool. But I think if you're Gara versus TR in that situation, EQ is good, but I don't know. I think Waterfall is just better. And nice move. Well, no, Trick Room's down. He tries to absorb the Gyro Ball, but Jimmy's more focused on getting the rocks back up, so he's going to get him up as Gara takes this Metagross out. It is going after Earthquake, otherwise Metagross rocks and booms. So it's going to be either Lum, Mash, Bullet Punch, Explosion. That would be with Lum, or no Meteor Mash, which would be Earthquake, Bullet Punch. That would be more for, I think if you're going to Stealth Rock with lead Metagross, then you're probably going to want to go Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, Explosion with Lum. Because no Meteor Mash is just, oh, Waterfall does KO it. I think that's a roll. Or he's just not running that much bulk, but Gyarados with doing that much, I mean, Metagross does speed creep a lot. Yeah, okay, so it's a middle roll, so fair enough. I guess this lets him give up less momentum with Hitmontop gone. He's forced to switch Heatran into it, gets Stone Edged, but it's not choice banded, so lefties. And it took little enough to where I'm going to say it has max HP, so Spadef. So Protect, and then you get Rocks, and that's something, but he's still looking behind, and not really, his last Pokemon is going to be fast. So, but with, Gyarados is likely to just kill something. Oh, he gets a Stone Edge miss, so that's going to help, but the Transfer could have Lum, so this could just be a wasted, it won't make much of a difference. So, oh, he goes to Dragonite, is on the Protect again, nice move. I think that Protect wasn't really helping him much there, because stalling and, so there's Dragonite, almost surely to be a mix. Because he's going to be going for Toxic or Lava Plume anyway. I guess protecting out of another Stone Edge range is a nice idea and all, but if he's so likely to be Lum, then I don't think it's going to be doing much good, especially, I mean, he does switch to Rotom on the Superpower. If this is Scarf HP Ice, that'll be chased out, and Tyranitar isn't at perfect health, so anyway, I guess it was a nice idea, but I think he's behind enough, and Jimmy plays aggressively enough to where throwing out Lava or just Toxicking was a better move. So, early game Stone Edge crit really biting him, but Jimmy's team did not mess with Hitmontop. Or not get messed up by Hitmontop at all. So, this could be a martial law team, which would mean that there is an offensive Calm Eye Cresselia in the back, alongside a Scarf Heatran. So those are two combinations to look out for. Of course, they could just be, Starmie and then Scarf Rotom or Scarf Tran, like a million other offense teams have been. Scarf Ape is also a good option there, excuse me. His 3 Steals does feel a little strange, but it definitely does work. Kingdra is another option with the double Steel, and it would give him another powerful dragon, great at wall breaking stuff alongside Dragonite, and it would give him a better buffer against Hippowdon. That is a big thing for this team. When you're running Mixed Knight, T-Tar stuff, then you've got to beat Hippo. He roosts up, so it's not extreme speed. It is also it is not a fast Dragonite, as you can see by the Spike Swords rating. It could be offensive Spike Swords rating, in which case it would outrun any non-Scarf Dragonite. But my feeling is with Hitmontop, he's going more for the defensive approach with the regular spikes. So I think it's a fair guess to say it's just a slower, bulkier Mixed Knight. Fair. He appreciates the bulk for helping ward off Infernape and Gengar. So getting a spike down won't really do much, is the thing. Now, it could be HP Ice Roserade. Some Spikes Roserades do run HP Ice to deter Dragonite from waltzing in for free, because Stealth Rock and Sand, while a bitch, don't really take you too far. He's going to spike up, and he is going to force Dragonite to take Life Orb and Sand Recoil again, because it doesn't die. And I guess he's really going all out with that Zapdos sweep. So, which, in fairness, is not a bad attempt to win. Because he's wearing down Tyranitar with the spike, so it's not like he's aimlessly, I've got Roserade in, spikes might do something. So, and these kinds of teams, like without T-Tar is very often like the best thing Zapdos to handle Zapdos, and you have Scarf Tran for backup or something. And well, you might say, well, that's pathetic. Why don't people use more Zapdos counters? And I'll tell you, it's like there are not a lot of good Zapdos counters on offense. Let me tell you. And very often, if you want to run T-Tar, Jolteon, Swampert, then, that's not that that's a bad team or so, but it's not unreasonable to see Zapdos teams really getting messed with by Zapdos with Tyranitar crippled. And he's got the second Electric as well, so here comes Zap. No threat of E-Speed with the Roost. So his HP Ice is going to be really nasty. Tar gets 2 KO by T-Bolt here. He is forced to HP Ice. I think that he... Okay, so Dragonite's main function is fucking with Tran and roosting. So, actually, the Stone Edge miss, we'll call it somewhat fair because he got the crit on Hitmontop earlier. So... if Scarf Tran is the secondary measure and Laurel's got the Heatran of his own to just completely stuff it, then that could be an issue. He's got to actually watch out for the Calm Mind Cress, funnily enough. I think the best set is generally Grass Knot, HP Fire, Psychic, just a la Jirachi, no messing with Ice Beam. It's because it's largely superfluous and not all that needed. Sure, it'll be nice when you run into the one Smithcore running around nowadays. It's an amazing set, but people don't really use it, but generally you'll get by without it, I think. So T-Tar comes in. It could be Custat Berry. That is a great item. No, it's not. That's a shame. It is a great item on MixTar, though. Great item on Stealth Rock Tar, which doesn't necessarily have to be mixed, even though it most likely is. Bronzong Gyro Ball. It will take a lot of bulk for Zapdos. That he's really wishing he switched earlier instead of an extra 25% here would be amazing, but that's the pass. So Gyro Ball does all he needs to be, and we already know it's offensively inclined, so he might not even have to explode, but he can only Gyro Ball 4 times. But, and that's assuming Bronzong is his best response from here. Scarf Tran seems very likely. Because it's really a Zap. This is the beauty of DPP even. Laurel was not looking great, but he still got a fighting chance. And Jimmy was looking commanding, but it's not going to be easy for him to pull away with this one. While you might say that happens in other gens too. I'm just being a little sentimental, but it does speak to the fact that this gen is not, as some naysayers might have you believe, you know, random button clicking, click the not very effective move, click Earth Power here. Like, so, anyway, and it's not as if, that aside, it's not as if Laurel's only option is to any Fire Blasts. I was gonna say, it's not like his only option is to defensively, you know, roost with Zapdos, go with Heatran and such, because he also has a powerhouse in Gyarados. He can put a charge into whatever. And fitting Ice Beam on Cress, as I was saying earlier, some people use offensive Calm Mind Rest, which isn't bad. I generally wouldn't, but it's not bad. Anyway, so fitting Ice Beam, like, it's a nice idea, obviously, because, oh shit, it has access to Ice Beam. Cool, let me use this. But, Calm Mind, HPS does not get used on Calm Mind Jirachi, you know, for a reason. So, yeah, and I know that's like, it's like, okay, but Ice Beam's a lot stronger, and you know, that's not even getting into the fact that it can freeze. But, I just don't think it's necessary. It is Cresselia. Eats Lava Plume, which is Flash Fired. So, Spinef Tran is an unbelievable tank. It doesn't get used that often, but back in its day, in both DP and Black and White, it just tanked special hits that had incredible power behind them with ease. So, even an HP Ground here won't even come close to KOing. And he is faster. Oh, it's a speed tie, I think, because Cresselia got leftovers first, and he's going to get a crit. So, Dragonite's in. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it was a Cress was not winning that. Actually, if it was Calm Mind Rest, then it had a very, I don't know, because he has Rotom with Trick too, so I would not have put money on that going well for Jimmy. He stays in, Toxics, Timer. Of course, now he must feel obligated to protect. But I think he should switch to Rotom, because I feel Jimmy's going to roost again. He does, yeah. And because it was just such an obvious protect, and I think he could have gotten a little more. Now he's in a defensive position, and Rotom can get creamed by Superpower. So it is the martial law team. It's a good team, and it's been very successful at its time. So not a bad choice by Jimmy at all. I think I played Metal Gross once for a PO tournament, and he was using this, and the Cress just really caught me off guard. So that's one of the factors it has going for it. Of course, I mean, being caught off guard by Cress can mean like you're fucked, but it's also like not, you know, it can also be, oh, well, it's Cress, okay, you know, I can live with this. Anyway, he chooses to throw the Gyara away, and that gets Draco Meteored. I guess with he's going for the Electrics, beating down Heatran with Spikes. Heatran getting worn down with the 2 Suicide Spikes from Roserade was great. And it does make sense that it is still Mixed Knight, slower than the Raid, because he's got the Trick Room with Bronzong, so... So, let me see. So, Heatran's still healthy enough. So, he's going to go to Zapdos. He can roost here, actually, because of the -2. And while Draco's still going to put a charge into it, then it's still, you know, he just roosts more after, and T-Knight's pretty much out of the picture. So, we see a roost here 100,000%. Heatran Fire Blasts. He does take advantage of the roost. Or the HP. I see Thunderbolts. He kills it. And now I think Rotom's going to win the game. So... Okay, he can't actually throw this away. Or as in, he can't just, like, click buttons here and win. He's got to think this through, because if this gets Trick Room, this gets killed by Gyro, and then Rotom comes in, eats Gyro. Well, actually, I think maybe he can, because D-Knight is really low, so 47, so he's going to be at 17 after Rock. Is that right? No, he's going to be at 22 after Rocks, I'm sorry. And he can roost on T-Bolt. It's a matter of Trick Room turns, so I think he needs a T-Bolt on Bronzong first, because he needs to weaken it for Rotom. So let's just assume it's a max special attack Timid. I think that's a fair assumption. Max special attack Timid is doing 40 minimum, unless very, absolute low roll. We'll call this 40. So it's doing 40, and Rotom is significantly weaker, 309 if it's max special attack. It can also run bulk, and that would help it against the gyro balls, but hurt it against as you can see, Gyro Ball does a lot of damage, and if it's, bulky versus max HP, then it's a difference, but significant one, and the extra damage might be enough. And so he does T-Bolt, and it's a 2-hit KO. Any Earthquakes, assuming Roost, and Laurel's going to take game 1. So I think he was Earthquaking because he wanted to avoid if Laurel roosts on Trick Room, then he can stall it out and game's more or less over. Although assuming Trick Room, Explode, and then Dragonite tries to roost, but Dragonite would not be able to roost. It would have died. So game 2. Alright, so Starmie versus Jirachi. Laurel's got songs that were cool about 10 years ago. So Starmie can be Life Orb, Specs, Trick Flame Orb, Trick Scarf. It's not going to be Trick Scarf. And sometimes stall teams run their bulky Starmie in the lead slot just because they don't have anything fucking better to lead. But that actually, it's been a while since I've seen that happen, so we're going to assume that's not the case. And Jirachi is most commonly a special attacking variant. Stealth Rock, Psychic, Thunderbolt, HP Ground, throwing Grass Knot over one of the two. Sometimes throw in HP Fire if you want to run the old Super Rachi coverage, which is good if your team is offensive and struggles with defensive Bronzong, which is very often the case for very many offensive teams. You just want to smack that, and you want Grass Knot, and you don't want to give up coverage on Skarmory. So it is going to Body Slam on Hydro, as that eats 40, so I think this is the other variant of Jirachi that's often seen in the lead slot in today's metagame. Scarf still exists, but it's not that often seen in the lead slot. Sometimes you'll see a mix set, like on this one Jirachi team, as in the user, and it's a very good one, but it's not something often. You're really just leading it because it's a Jirachi. So I think I know what team Jimmy's running. So the other variant I was referring to is the Sub-Para set, which is seen in the lead spot, which is just, it's a Jirachi lead, and you can find out. You can scout something like Dragonite to see what it's doing. You can switch to Bliss for rocks, because Jirachi provokes Thunderbolt on the assumed Stealth Rock. So, and the most known team that leads Sub-Para Jirachi, especially, is the one that also has a Stealth Rocking Blissey lead. It's not going to be the stupid Paraspam team, thank God. So I think he's running a bottom bank team, so it's going to be, well, there's another poke, Tar, assuming Scarf, and it's going to be Skarm, Nidoqueen, Rotom. So the idea is just overload with hazards, make sure Starmie's not spinning, and finish him off with Jirachi. I have a team that I made like this with Clefable over Blissey because I think it's better at not getting worn down, which is important. And Blissey is great, don't get me wrong. I just think it's more fitting on teams like with Starmie. Not that it needs Starmie to function, but I just prefer it that way. There is Starmie, and one of the variants of said team, oh my god, that is a choice banded Tranitar. He's just Stone Edge with no fear against an unrevealed Tar set. Good move. And while that sounds sarcastic, I'm only, I'm trying to say a million things at once. But, yeah, the one variant runs Starmie over Rotom. With Blissey, it's fair. With Clefable, I think it's superfluous, but usually it's just going to be Blissey Starmie. So, fair. I think Rotom is really integral to how it really forces a chokehold on offensive teams with Starmie. We're just denying it utterly from getting any sort of breathing room against the hazards, so I think Rotom's really key there. But Starmie does help against Infernape, so fair enough. Although I think with Nidoqueen, it's not really needed. Nidoqueen is probably the best initial spawn for Infernape switch in OU. So I don't know. It's really preference, but I do like Rotom, especially because Rotom is a viable offensive threat if it's running Subsplit, or it gives you another safe Revenge Killer. Although this team gives absolutely zero room for setup, so that Earth Power takes a chunk out of Tar, but it's not Choice Specs. It's just a Scarf Tar, so zero bulk. So the Tyranitar. Laurel is like, all right, Jimmy's a smart guy. He's not going to risk his... Oh, that's banded too. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, no, I do, but sometimes you... I haven't really seen CB Tar on the team. I'm assuming the last two were Skarmory and Nidoqueen. Like, I haven't really seen them there. I haven't really seen CB Tar there, but since Scarf Rotom is off the last, then I think it would work well too, and it really makes sure that Starmie is going to get the spin off if it's getting rid of the ghost. So, although with Starmie there, it's just a little, I don't know, but it could not be Scarf Queen. Anyway, so Laurel's got a good, solid offensive team going here. He's got the Bantar, and he stayed in because he knows Jimmy's a smart guy, and that's not a play you consistently make and succeed with. Once in a while, then you pop that and like, all right, I'm staying in. I'm getting the free hit here if he's not going to take it. And Jimmy was like, I've got the more defensive team. I'm gonna scout him out a little. Although, and he was looking for to catch a superpower, but instead banned Stone Edge, and so rocks are staying. So here comes Jirachi as Breloom comes in, finishes it off, and so the thing with Jirachi on this team is, and this Jirachi set in general, is that it wears down offensive uncomfortably fast. So when Heatran took that body slam, then it gets it's a little scary. So of course, when it's at 60%, it's a lot less threatening, and it doesn't have as much bulk as it'd like because it needs HP and speed. So it's also not packing a ton of power. Of course, Here comes his own Jirachi, depending on what set this is. This can, well, it's slower, although that doesn't necessarily tell us anything. Could just be a speed tie. Body Slam, doing nothing. That's bold. Thunderbolt, it's a Wish Calm Mind Jirachi. And unless this Fire Punch burns, which should be what he's going for, then he is going to struggle to break it. So he's still going for Para. With Tar gone, he's in some trouble. He is not paralyzing at all. But now with the +1, he is going to be able to break the subs. Now he's actually into a KO range. So, what does he want it parried so badly for? I assume the last is like, well, Blissey can T-Wave it too, so that might be just a little... Well, now the Jirachi's not a threat anymore, and Breloom's going to be fucking shit up. If he doesn't want to eat a T-Wave, he doesn't have to. He doesn't need these boosts. He can just switch to Blissey safely, or Breloom safely. And if he gets Flamethrowered, he can just come back in and set up. I mean, it's not like he needed it. Or he can go to Tyranitar, which doesn't mind T-Wave too much, I guess, and can would not get roasted by Flamethrower. So very nice safe move by Laurel there. So Band Superpower just kills Blissey 1,000 times over, but he can also spam Crunch safely. I think what Jimmy's thinking so hard about here is if he's gonna let Blissey get pursued, which uh, I don't know. I just don't think. And nope, Jirachi's gonna be the sack. He's gonna eat the full para, I guess. I think he's gonna throw out more body slams. And so Starmie doesn't come in. He really wants to nail that Jirachi, but he can always Ironhead, be safe. And we don't know Laurel's last, which I assume is going to be Zapdos, Gyarados, Gliscor, possibly. Offensive threats. So here comes Jirachi on Ironhead. So he can Wish Up, actually, and pass it to something if he so desires. He's going to flinch, try and get some HP back, because that is what Jirachi does. But Bull Jirachi is one of the best countermeasures, because it just sits in all day, and actually, instead of the Split F set, which is Wish Protects, it's actually an offensive threat. So he is not getting parried. I think somewhere ABR is throwing a fit over the statistical anomaly that's occurring right now. Here comes Bliss once more on T-Bolt. Back to right now Breloom, and I think he's safe switching to Breloom because Stealth T-Wave, Flamethrower, Softball. I mean, it's an okay set, but you actually don't chase out Starmie, which is kind of bad. So I mean, and he does have a banned T-Tar, so fair. But I just think it's just Seismitoss is a lot better. Although Flamethrower does help against Gengar a lot. So, or slash Ice Beam, Ice Beam works too, so you're not actually, stalled out by Zapdos. Although I'm pretty sure it can stall out Ice Beam if it really needed to, but now he's gonna fire off the last move on CB Tar is team dependent. I don't think Aqua Tail is very good because Breloom switches into it enough already, so I stick with Superpower, Ice Punch, Fire Punch. Here comes Zapdos on Band Crunch. That's a bold Zapdos. Which, so I guess that means the last could be Machamp, almost, and he's just really preserving its health, so, he doesn't have a Scarfer, so the last could be Scarfer, unless it was Rock, Scarf, Tran, which, not the craziest thing in the world, but something likely would be, well, you can run anything in that slot, honestly, but you'd want the Fight Resist, and so Scarf Rotom is another good bet, because Fight Resist on offense are pretty hard to come by. He goes to Breloom on Zapdos, so what that's telling me is that, he got hit by Sand first, yeah. Now he's going to get a Spore off, actually. So nice move there. He recognized it's bold, I'm Jolly Breloom, I'm sporing this shit. Very nicely done. Where I think most people would have just gone, alright, well, I'll Crunch, I guess, see what happens, or gone to Jirachi to set up. And, but yeah, heads up move by Laurel there. So and the thing is, even when he's dodging all the paralysis, that's not actually, like, hurting him. That's not like, helping him. Okay, you know what I mean. Why did he switch out there? That was very strange. Did he not take his free Spore? Oh, I guess he was just pivoting so he gets it in for a Stone Edge, but I don't think he was paying attention to the Sand turn, so if so, then that, heads-up play went to waste. And that Stone Edge miss actually helps him because now he can't roost it off, which would to a KO, but Para, and I think I'd favor Zapdos there. Although I guess between Para and the Stone Edge miss rate, then it also helps T-Tar in the sense that it is likely that at some point Zapdos is going to roost up to full, where it can't. Oh, it's Flygon last. I did not expect that. So Flygon comes in, and now, yeah, Breloom's going to win this game, for sure. So Jimmy's source of speed is going to be the Scarf Flygon. Not at all the team I was expecting, but it's actually a very good one, now that I think about it. I can dig it. It actually looks like, it looks like the team that he used in Smogon Tour 22 semifinals. In fact, it's the exact same team, except it leads Jirachi, and the Split F Heatran became a Blissey. So that's cool. He goes to Jirachi, eats EQ. Don't think that was necessary, unless he's got a plan with the last. Think it would have been likely or more useful to just sack Starmie, if anything, I guess. But, I mean, EQ also lets Breloom in for free. So, he's gonna throw away. I don't, but Jirachi's still actually useful. It's another thing. It's not like he's got such a good position with so many ways to win. He's like, I can throw this one away. Who gives a shit? But Gyarados is in, and that is going to, this is a KO before Flygon has a chance to revenge it. And then, depending on what dies, then, actually no, Bold Blissey can live and throw out a T-Wave, unless it's Taunt Gara, in which case Taunt on T-Wave, that's 2 DDs and that's game over, and he can't exactly switch to Flygon on Taunt, because if he's like, fuck it, Waterfall, then he just straight up loses. So I think he's got to go to Jirachi to threaten Para and to deny the second DD. So yeah, Jirachi's the move. And, he doesn't have Jirachi, Laurel doesn't have his own Jirachi to soak up Outrage either. So, I mean, he's lucky that the Flygon is going to be at 29 when it comes back in, which helps with Mach Punch. But where's Swords Dance? Is that Swords Dance? No, that's Trace Scarf. So I saw he started to switch. So, Flygon Scarf is yeah. So he's gonna. It's a KO after the next one. So yeah, he does go to Jirachi. Now Flygon's gonna come in. Now he's going to sack Tyranitar. Tyranitar's too weak, and he can go to Gyarados for Intimidate. Well, the thing is, actually, he's going to struggle with Zapdos without the DD'd, fucking, because Tyranitar's weak, so Laurel threw this away, actually. This should be pretty over by now. I mean, at least he killed the Jirachi and didn't risk paralysis. I mean, it's not over, but I am not confident about... Well, he's got the Spore. He has to recognize... And he lets Gara go. At least now he spores and kills something, guaranteed. So... Or hell, he can just Seed Bomb and kill something, guaranteed, and then spore something else. So yeah, Seed Bomb is the move. He has to recognize Breloom is faster than Zapdos. He got hit by Sand first. It's 2017. Look at the sand turns. So, it's not that Spore's not bad because, well, no, Spore is bad because if you just Spore Flygon and he switches to Zapdos, then it's like, well, there's that. Seed Bomb. I'm just willing, I'm not taking sides, I'm just willing him to see that sand. So, and I mean, obviously nothing's guaranteed, but I think Jimmy's just gonna let Flygon go here. Because, well, he could sack Blissey, I guess. No, he's letting Flygon go. Okay, Seed Bombs. So, good. Here comes Zap. He has no move but to Sport here because and then go Starmie at least. Starmie's fine because he just goes right to Starmie. I mean, not bad, but so now he threatens Ice Beam and Zapdos gets chased out. And he can spin rocks on the switch. I don't think Zapdos wants to So you Ice Beam Bliss, and then you switch to Breloom 100,000 fucking %, and then you, and if he double switches Zapdos, fine, just rinse repeat. Matter of fact, I would give priority to spinning, because, I mean, this shouldn't be over. The only reason this is still a contest is because he didn't recognize that Breloom outruns Zapdos. Okay, it's not Serene Grace Blissey, and he didn't sneak in a Spore somewhere, so I'm not going crazy. Spin, and if he discharges and kills you, then at least you have the Tyranitar at 43 as opposed to 31, which is a big difference. No, he just Ice Beams. Well, he got him. But no, he's not, because now he's going to go to Tar, and the Blissey's and it's going to full para, and on Roosts, and then he's going to go to Breloom and find out that he was faster all along, and please go to Breloom. I'm not rooting against Jimmy. This is driving me crazy. So, Laurel might be trying to psych him out. Earthquake is another move on CB Tar. Yeah, he went to Tar, of course he did. I guess he Stone Edges, because even Stone Edge, Roosting Stone Edge powers through Bolt Zapdos. So, as you can see here versus Absolute Max, so, yeah. And he'll have to hit a couple, but, you know, he put himself in this position. He's trying to be like, if I Earthquake on Roost, then blah, 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 and if you discharge, then I lose. Earthquake's actually, I've seen it a couple times on Bantar. Tama uses this one team with it, and I mean, it's fine for if you're really trying to smash Jirachi and, like, Metagross, I guess, but it's like, I just much prefer Superpower. So, discharge. He full paras. Okay, now we're going to see that he was faster the entire fucking time. And so yeah, okay, now he spores her superpowers and the game's over. So he still won because Jimmy didn't roost, but oh my god, I didn't even think of this. What if he goes for a Mach Punch crit? Oh my god, dude, Spore, Superpower. They're both fine. It actually doesn't matter, because you use Superpower the next turn, so. Yeah. Alright, so Laurel takes the first series. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my mental breakdown, but this was a good couple games, so, yeah, enjoy, hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna go yell at the Smog Tours lobby, because that's really good for my health.